Thank you for all the great knowledge. You're welcome. He says, what would be a reasonable price per lead for plastic surgeons in large cities via us managing their GMB listing, like what Marco described for personal injury a few weeks ago using our call center number and their listings? Gracias. It's a really good question. What I would look at as just kind of a benchmark, as like a starting point, would be look at some of the pay-per-call exchange networks like Ring Partner, for example. I don't know if they have cosmetic surgeon calls in there or not, but I would go look at pay-per-call exchange networks on Google and just start going through some of them. Look, perhaps, because essentially what they pay out are like wholesale lead charges, because you'd be selling leads to a pay-per-call exchange like Ring Partner. The way I'm just explaining how Ring Partner works, guys, and that's just one of many, right? But essentially you become a publisher, the digital marketer, that gets leads to call through your phone numbers because of the stuff that you have published on the web, your digital assets. They call in. If it meets a specific criteria, then you get paid a wholesale lead fee, because then Ring Partner sells that at a retail cost to their to the people that are their advertisers, right? The people that buy the leads. And so there's publishers and advertisers. The advertisers buy, the publishers market, right? And so find out what the pay-per-call payout is for cosmetic surgery stuff leads for these pay-per-call pay-per-call exchange networks. That would be a good starting point. And remember that those are wholesale lead costs. You can obviously mark those up. So that would be my suggestion. Marco, what do you say?
I'd also say to take a look at what they're paying for AdWords.
Very good.
For for cosmetic surgery. I mean, that's a high ticket item, right? Plastic surgeons. I mean, that's a lot of money, because a lot of these people are repeat. Once they get in, they're gonna want this done. They're gonna want that done. So it's worth over time. It's the customer value is really high.
Yeah. For
plastic surgeons. In personal injury in big cities, $250 to $300 is the going rate, and that's what you should be selling your calls for. You can get higher, that's fine, but you'd be pushing it, because they'll get some leads that aren't really worth all that much, which they then sell to somebody else at a lower price than they paid you, plus a percentage of whatever they get. They have all sorts of arrangements, and lawyers are like that. I'm sure that plastic surgeons might be that way, although medical field is strange to me. I've worked in it, so and it's still an enigma. But plastic surgeons, it shouldn't be any less than that. $200 to $250 per call, per qualified call, of course. And you establish the parameters. It could be a minute. And if they stay on for that long and they mention anything about anything that's relevant to the plastic surgery, then you're in. They got to pay. Make sure you're recording everything, right? Make sure that you're tracking everything, but not just the number. You guys, if you're thinking about just the number, then you're going to miss out on money, because there are people that are going to visit the website. There are people that are going to do their research. They might fill out a contact form. They might call from the website. They might ask for driving directions and go in and actually visit and ask for an appointment. That way, if they're close by, just drop in. We see that happening all the time with the attorney. So you have me. I'm a control freak when it comes to this. You have to give me total control over everything so that I can track everything, or I'm not going to work. I'm not going to do it. It's just not worth the time. Now, if you let me into everything, into all the numbers, and you're transparent, I know I can trust you, then we can work.
Yeah. And the other part of that is, like Marco said, look at AdWords average cost per click for the keywords that you're going to be targeting, because, like, for example, personal injury, they might pay 200 CPC, right? $200 cost per click. And it might take 5 clicks for it to be a lead, right, guys? One click doesn't equal one lead, right? It's very rare that one click equals one lead. A lot of the times it's multiple clicks. You get 3 clicks for 3 to 5 clicks for one conversion. A conversion would be somebody submitting a contact form or calling, right? If a phone call is a conversion action, or a conversion goal. So my point is, not every click. So with $200 being average cost per click, if that were the case in the city that you're targeting, and it takes 5 calls on average for it to be a conversion, to become a lead, then you're talking $1,000. Now, I'm not saying you sell a phone call for $1,000, because not every phone call is going to convert to to an actual like lead either, you know. So what I think what Marco said is very correct. You can use some of those metrics like average cost per click for Google Ads, and also like pay per call, exchange network pricing for wholesale type lead stuff. Okay.